Gift or no gift, I am just as special as the rest of my family.
Who wants more pink?
All right, guys, where do I drop the wagon?
Maybe your gift is being in denial.
Welcome to Your Weekly Ticket. Five-time Oscar winner Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu just wrapped production on his newest film since The Revenant, Bardo. Now, Bardo is a nostalgic comedy that will focus on a famous Mexican journalist and filmmaker who returns to Mexico at a moment of identity and existential crises, which is making him question everything about his life. Iñárritu returned to shoot and produce the film entirely in Mexico for the first time since Amores Perros over 20 years ago. A Super Mario Bros. Animated film will be coming to theaters on December 21st, 2022. Nintendo representative director and Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto provided an update on the Mario animated movie that is being created by Illumination. The voice cast will include Chris Pratt as Mario, Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach, Charlie Day as Luigi, Jack Black as Bowser, Keegan-Michael Key as Toad, and Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. Along with those names, the cast will also include Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong and Sebastian Maniscalco as Spike. And in the United States, Shang-Chi just became the highest grossing movie since the pandemic began. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is now the highest grossing film of 2021 and the pandemic, surpassing the $183.4 million earned by Black Widow. Shang-Chi topped the box office 4 straight opening weekends, landing at $196 million as of today, priming it to become the first movie to surpass $200 million domestically since the start of the pandemic. Hola amigos, it's Hispanic Heritage Month, and to kick things off, we are diving into Rotten Tomatoes' list of Hispanic movies to watch with the entire family. And joining us now to break it all down is Tomato Meter approved critic and co-founder of Latinx Lens, Rosa Parra. Rosa, ¿cómo estamos? How are you? I'm so happy you're here.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for inviting me. I am doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I am absolutely better now that you're here. Are there any films on this list that you grew up watching that you would recommend to us?
Oh my gosh, so many films. Particularly the first one that stands out for me is Stand and Deliver from 1988. It's a movie that's very dear to my heart, simply because I am also from East LA. The movie takes place in East LA, and it follows math professor Jaime Escalante, who's portrayed brilliantly by Edward James Olmos. He is at Garfield High School, which is the high school I attended as well. So this movie is certainly an anthem for all of us from East LA. It's a very motivational movie, a feel-good movie. So Professor Escalante, just to give you a little bit of context on the movie, he comes into this high school to teach math. So of course, because we are in a very much barrio school, high schools, the grades aren't necessarily the best, nor are they the highest of standards, as a lot of people would assume. Eventually, Jaime Escalante decides never to give up on these kids, never to give up on these high schoolers, and eventually proposes to teach them calculus and eventually prepare them for the AP exam. A lot of people are very much against this, a lot of fellow math professors in the movie, and eventually he never gives up on these students. If this movie would not have existed, I don't know where I'd be right now. I watched this movie so many times for motivation. There's so many memorable quotes, so many motivational speeches here that time after time I had to come back to them to help me pass my own calculus tests and classes. So it's certainly one of those movies that it depicts the Latino experience, particularly the US Latino experience, with such hope and so on and so forth, that it's certainly one of those that I would definitely highly recommend everyone to go seek out.
Wow. First of all, I can't believe that your high school was in it. That's insane.
Yes.
And it's so close to your heart. That means so much. That representation is so important, especially when you're young, you know? Are there any films on this list that are newer that you would recommend for the new generation of kids growing up now?
Oh my God, yes, certainly there's a few, but I think the one that definitely steals my heart is Coco from 2017, the Pixar animated film. That movie is just stunning. It's visually gorgeous, and it follows a little kid, Miguel, who aspires to be a musician, something that's very much banned within his family. And it's a beautiful story about family, about ancestors, and all of this takes place in the Day of the Dead, which is definitely a holiday that's very important for us Mexicans. And with Coco, it immediately immerses you into this world, just simply with the opening of that Disney logo with the mariachi band. How much cooler does that get? The beginning sequences is so beautiful and so gorgeous. And just to see, for me, particularly as well, as a Mexican, first generation Mexican Chicana, I grew up watching a lot of these Mexican icons that make cameos in this movie, and the culture, the music, everything about it is very much. I cannot recommend this enough. It's the whole meal, you know, and it's definitely one of those movies that I, on a personal level, go back to on an annual basis.
Yeah, and I also feel like Coco is one of the only movies that can make a grown man cry on an airplane, which is why I love it. I am so obsessed with Coco. Disney killed it. And they actually have, you know, other Latinx stories coming out, like Encanto.
Yes.
Are there any movies on the horizon that feature Latinx or Hispanic stories or by a Latinx filmmaker that you're excited about?
Yes, you just mentioned one of them, Encanto. Encanto, certainly, the moment I saw that trailer, I was just blown away by it. The fact that it's going to be highlighting Colombia, and you're going to have a lot of Colombian native or people who descend from that country voicing some of these characters, and then as well as Carlos Vives singing some of these songs, which I grew up listening to as a little girl. So that's certainly on the horizon for me, as well as Spielberg's West Side Story. I'm very much intrigued to see how this film turns out, since it's very much critically acclaimed, the original one from 1961. And I am very much intrigued to see how they, if they improve in terms of the representation, because at the end of the day, the original movie, it is a bit slightly problematic in terms of representation and so on and so forth. But the fact that you do have a Spielberg behind it, and you do have the support of another Latina icon and legend, Rita Moreno, it's certainly one of those movies that I'm keeping my eye on it.
Yeah, and I'm so excited that she's actually going to be in this upcoming one. So amazing. Well, Rosa, these were incredible recommendations, and I love that they were so personal to you. Thank you for sharing them with us. Where can people find you?
Yes, no problem. Thank you so much for inviting me. This was pretty neat. Yes, you can find me on every social media platform at Rosa's Reviews, and you can also find my work at latinxlens.com, as well as follow us on social media at latinxlens.
Amazing. Thank you, Rosa. Nos vemos.
Thank you. Bye. Gracias.
And this actually isn't the only list that Rotten Tomatoes helped curate this month. Be sure to check out our other list of 125 essential Spanish language movies. Some of my favorites on that list are Roma and La Llorona. Now available to watch in theaters on Friday is Venom and The Many Saints of Newark. Tom Hardy returns to the big screen as both Eddie Brock and the Lethal Protector Venom, one of Marvel's greatest and most complex characters. In the sequel, Eddie and Venom find themselves increasingly at odds with one another. Can they figure out how to live side by side in time to save the world from the villain Carnage, who is way more powerful than anything Eddie and Venom have encountered so far? The film is directed by Andy Serkis and stars Michelle Williams, Naomi Harris, and Woody Harrelson as Carnage. Also available to watch at home is The Addams Family 2 and Witch Hunt. Everyone's favorite spooky family is back in the animated comedy sequel, The Addams Family 2. In this all-new movie, we find Morticia and Gomez distraught that their children are growing up, skipping family dinners, and totally consumed with screen time. To reclaim their bond, they decide to cram Wednesday, Pugsley, Uncle Fester, and the crew into their haunted camper and hit the road for one last miserable family vacation. Their adventure across America takes them out of their element and into hilarious run-ins with their iconic cousin It, as well as many new kooky characters. All right, friends, well, that is it for today. Leave us a comment and let us know what you are watching this week. I'm Naz Perez, and I'll see you next time. Bye.